So now we are in Austria with Meinklang and a really exciting wine that's very close to my heart. This is the wine that made me fall in love with Meinklang when I think I actually tried it twice. No, I don't know, but definitely when Nick and I went to Austria. Nope, sorry, let me get my story straight. We went to Austria and Hungary, but when we were in Hungary, this amazing Som pulled it out and gave it to us alongside some other amazing Slovakian and other wines that we tried there. And it was very funny because it was the last wine of the night. So of course I was loving everything I was having, but this wine is called Nacht, and it's a part of their, I think it's called like Daytime or Day something series, where they basically create wines based on the time of day when they believe they should be drank. It also has something to do with like the earth and the moon's rotation or something. They're very into biodynamics and all that, but this one is all about nighttime, and it is made in concrete eggs. So this is supposed to be like a little illustration of the concrete eggs that it's made in. And I believe the one that I fell in love with was actually the last version, number 2. This one's number 3. Number 2 was made of Pinot Noir, versus this one's actually a blend of Syrah and I think Gruner. It's like just a little bit of white in there with the rest of the Syrah. So very singular wine. That's all I'll say to start. And we can dive into why starting now. So yeah, so Meinklang, if you don't already know who they are, is, I'm gonna guess, probably the largest natural wine producer in the world. They have like 5,000 acres, or I think acres, maybe hectares. I don't know. That would be a ton of hectares. And they basically are like the proof in the pudding that you can actually make delicious natural wine at scale where everyone in the system wins. People are paid appropriately. No shortcuts are made with all their biodynamic preparations, etc. So we love them for that. And y'all are really lucky that you're getting this one because they don't actually make that much of it. So I was able just to get a couple cases to put into our Red Club. All right, so on the nose, like biting, almost like biting, I think is probably the right word. Biting cranberries, I think, is the start. And then after that, a little bit like raspberry, and then super bright cherry. And I'm getting that from the top. Normally I would get, the cherry and stuff from the bottom, but it has a little bit of like medicinal quality to it. It's super light, by the way. I didn't start with that, so that I don't know exactly the process of making it, but I'm going to assume that it's fairly lightly extracted since it is Syrah. Plus, we now know that there's some of that white in there, which is probably also diluting the color a little bit. So once you get past that kind of like, wow, like I'm cherries and cranberries, I'm in your face. Once you kind of dig a little bit deeper, there's all of these gorgeous earthy notes, like a forest floor full of mushrooms and lots of like nice things that you want to be, I don't know, eating out of the ground, I guess. Like not sage. What's like it's like spicy, but it's like a green spice, whatever that is. A little bit like peppery, but like white pepper as well. Maybe a little bit of like cacao, not like, or dark chocolate or something. It's interesting because like those are like some really deep things that I'm talking about here from a very light wine. It's just, like I said, singular. Like it is a lot of things that you would not expect to be in the same wine. So let's try it. Woo! All right, so I'm going to say that this wine has a little bit too high of acidity right now. It's pretty easy for these wines to suffer from some volatile acidity, but I trust Meinklang. And so what I'm going to say on this one is that I only core bond it, so I don't have the opportunity at the moment to let it chill out. But what I'm going to do now, knowing this, is I'm going to open it and probably decant it for, try it again. I'll probably open it and leave it for like 20 minutes and then just kind of see how it's tasting up through probably like 45 to an hour. it's going to develop a lot. So I'm going to power through the VA to tell you what's on it, but in a normal circumstance, I would definitely decant it and then revisit it, because what you're going to end up getting is probably quite different than, well, not quite different. I think I can probably pick out what's going to be there, but we'll see how good my skills actually are. Maybe I'll do an edit to this video later on. All right, so most obvious, that ripping, biting, like I was saying, cranberry, it really is cranberry to start, which is normally not the first one that I get. Cranberries, raspberries. I'm not gonna get any dark fruit anymore. Super tart cherries. Yeah, honestly, everything that I kind of mentioned on the nose is hitting again in about the same order that I was perceiving it on the nose, because like it starts with all that and it's like, man, like I'm here, and then it kind of goes into this, oh, like, but now that I've calmed down and receded a little bit, now you're walking through the forest again, and isn't that nice? There's, you know, maybe it's a little smokier and a little more peppery, but again, like I'm really having to grasp for that right now. Oh, and also the way that I'm trying to get through that is you can sort of decant, or like you help the wine in your mouth by basically putting it in. It's warming it up a little bit once it's in there, and then you probably hear that lovely slurping sound that I'm making. But putting the wine at the back of your mouth and like breathing in like that, it allows the wine to kind of like circulate retronasally, is what it's called. It's where the end of your nose hits, and that's where you're really getting the most smell, which is actually where a lot of your taste comes from. That's why when you lose your sense of smell, you can't taste, but you can still feel, you know, like acid and tannin and all that. So that's how I'm trying to kind of get through that extra acid that it has right now to get to the core of what's there. So it's not perfect, but it did make a very big difference, because the first time I took that sip, I only did that a little bit, and it was kind of just like right through, bam, like here's a bunch of acid. But when I sat with it, really like did like a deep inhale, it changed the experience completely. Again, I'm going to decant this when I open it. I would recommend you do this, or I mean, you're probably just going to open it. So open it, try it. It's possible yours won't have the same amount of acidity as mine and be great right off the bat. But if you're feeling what I am describing, then that's what it is. And they're very clean, very good winemakers. So I don't feel like they're at risk of getting mousy if you decant it or anything like that. You should be able to let this guy chill, and he's really going to be able to shine. So yeah, that's that's how it goes sometimes. Welcome to natural wine. But I think that this wine is worth the slightly extra effort to really get out what you need from it. So, oh, and pairings, I didn't even talk about that. So pairings, well, it's got ripping acidity. So anything that has, like, you want it to match the acid. So anything that has a lot of lemon in it, and it's pretty light as well, like light in body, light in texture. Didn't even talk about that part. Super high in acid, light tannin, light body. So you could go, I guess you could go, if you like smoked the fish, that could be pretty good with it, or a fatty fish could probably work. And then you could also do, you know, whatever, roasted chicken with lemon on it. Chicken piccata could be really good with this, actually, with the capers as well. That's a pretty good one. A lot of options, just lighter reds, but make sure that it has a good amount of acid, because that's what this wine needs. Otherwise, it's going to make your food taste a little bit flabby. So enjoy.